So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today, welcome you back here at BSN. This is the BSN podcast here today. It is Wednesday, October 24th. Everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. I know I did. It is Wednesday, October 21st, like I just said. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. It is another packed podcast today. Game 1 of the World Series last night was amazing. Looked good. Enjoyed watching it. And really was a very good game. Dodgers won 8-3. Absolutely stomped all over the Tampa Bay Rays. And I like that because I do not want the Rays to win it. I do not like the Rays. I'm far from liking the Rays. Can't stand them. Don't like them. They're rivals with the Yankees. They beat the Yankees in the playoffs. Can't root for them. I'm rooting for the Dodgers. So the Rays had a big loss yesterday, and the Dodgers took a big win yesterday. We'll talk about that. Hitting was good. Pitching was good. All around, a good game for the Los Angeles Dodgers, I would say. Rays, not so good at all. Dodgers made some good plays. Dodgers got some big hits, all that good stuff. Dodgers played really well. We'll talk about that. These are the topics today. We got the Dodgers versus the Rays. We'll talk about the first game. We'll talk about Game 1, give you a preview to Game 2. We'll talk about what happened in Game 1, what I liked, what I thought was good, kind of generally what I thought of the whole World Series. Kind of what I thought, how I liked it, what it, was a good energy. Kind of give you that. And then I'll also tell you what happened in the game. So kind of just to give you a run through of what I'm thinking of the World Series right now. Game 1 was very good. So I hope that Game 2 is just as good. Then our next topic is Trevor Lawrence and the Jets. There's multiple reports coming out that Trevor Lawrence could be possibly trying to avoid going to the New York Jets. And he can do this by doing a couple different things. We'll talk about that. Now, as he came out, has his agent, has people close to him came out and said this? No, but many people have said that he should do it. Is he going to take the advice of those people, or is he just going to go along with it and more than likely get drafted by the New York Jets? What's going to happen? We'll talk about that. Then we'll have the World Series. I know I'm talking about the Dodgers Rays. Then we'll predict the World Series for our last topic, kind of give you what I think of tonight's game. The first topic will be what I thought of last night's game, give you what happened, all that stuff, and then the World Series was my predictions for tonight. So overall, we got 2 baseball topics, 1 football topic. So another packed podcast, like always. So with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So today we got Dodgers Rays. Yesterday we had Dodgers Rays, and I'm gonna sit here and tell you right away, I thought, and I know I always say this, I said this with the NHL, I said this with the NFL, I'm going to say it again with the MLB, and at this point you might be thinking like he's not even, you can't even believe him, he's just saying it just to say it, but I am telling the truth. I really thought this World Series looked good, and I thought it sounded good. I thought overall, Fox did a very good job. I thought it did not really look like they were playing baseball. It did not look, not playing baseball. It did look like they were playing baseball. It did not look like they were playing a baseball during a time like we're in. It looked good, and it sounded good. I'll tell you that for sure. I really enjoyed watching that game. Now, it reminded me a lot of the ALCS, or the NLCS. Sorry, not the ALCS. It reminded me a lot of the NLCS. You want to know why? The NLCS had fans. I will tell you what. I am really enjoying seeing fans in the stadium once again. Now, I got used to it when there was no fans, because my favorite team, the New York Yankees, did not allow fans. My favorite team in the NFL, the New York Jets, does not allow fans. So my favorite teams have no fans. Miami Hurricanes, they do have fans in their stadium, but that's the only team. Other than that, all of my sports teams don't allow fans. So this is really a change for me to watch a game that has fans, because usually the games I watch don't. Jets games, they don't have fans. Jets sometimes do if they're away, but when they're home, they don't have fans because they're not allowed due to the restrictions that the governor did not allow the Jets to have fans, Jets or Giants, to have fans in MetLife Stadium. We already went through this. We went through this a long time ago, and you already know. But I really did enjoy it. I am very glad, and I was a little iffy at it I was a little iffy about it at first, and you know how I was on the podcast. Now, was I mad that they were allowing fans? No, but I was a little iffy about it. I was kind of wondering, like, they were doing a postseason bubble. It defeats the purpose of a bubble if you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, it defeats the purpose of a bubble if you're allowing fans into it. It's pretty much popping the bubble. It's almost like the NHL or the NBA bubbles. If they would allow 15, 20, 25,000 people inside, like, that's just not that's not the purpose of a bubble. The bubble is to keep the players away from public, get the sports leagues done, or get the sports league going back up, and then move on with your regular everyday life, right? It was kind of weird because when I first heard about it, when they were going to allow fans, I was like, it defeats the purpose of a bubble. A bubble is to keep these players away from fans, away from, it's tough for some players, but away from family, because you don't want to attract the virus from somewhere else and then cause a chaos in the season. You've seen what happened with the MLB. You've seen what happened with the NHL leagues that don't do bubbles. Now, MLB did a playoff bubble, but regular season-wise, they didn't. So, it is definitely going to be, interesting. Now, what I'm going to tell you is like I said, I was a little iffy with it beginning. I did like it, though, because I love fans in attendance. I would much rather watch a game with fans than without. Now, to the point now I'm used to it without fans, so it's not like I'm really missing. In the beginning, I was really missing the action with fans. I was really like, there's not much action. But then, you got 10 games into the season, you're kind of to the point where, like, I wish I had fans, but it's not to the point where I'm like, I really, really, really miss fans. But last night, it did really show. I watched the NLCS and stuff, but last night, it really did show. It does bring a lot of life to the World Series. It really does. It really does. And I think the NHL and NBA could have possibly done that. They didn't. But I thought even then they would have made their bubble World Series and stuff, or Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals maybe even better if they would allow fans. I really do think the MLB did do good with that. But overall, I really liked it. I thought it was a very good game. It was a good game too. It was well played baseball, and that is now. Let's get into the whole baseball part of it. The Dodgers did, in fact, win last night 8-3, and I'm going to tell you really quickly, the Dodgers, once again, now this game, early on, this game was a pitching duel. It was seriously. Early on, this game was a pitching duel, a definition of a pitching duel. It was a close game, a lot of strikeouts, 0-0, ground balls, rolling over off-speed pitches, swings and misses. There was a lot of that. And to be honest, from what I saw out of the NLCS, from what I saw out of the ALCS, from what I've seen out of the whole playoff baseball, I was not expecting that kind of game out of the Dodgers and the Rays early on. Now, did the Dodgers turn it on and still put up 8 runs? Yes, they did. But I was not expecting that kind of game early on with the Dodgers and the Rays, if you follow what I'm saying. I was not really expecting that early on. So, I definitely was expecting more of a high-scoring game, more of a, a 9-5, 9-6 ball game. But let me say, two teams, very good pitchers, two very good teams, two very good pitchers are out there on the mound. Clayton Kershaw, he surprised me in a positive way. I was sitting there watching that game. Before that game, I was watching the pregame. I was kind of like, I was iffy about Kershaw. I even said, I think, yesterday on my podcast a little bit. If you want to go back, if you can watch it, you can. But I was even saying that a little bit on my podcast, how, I thought Kershaw's a good pitcher. He doesn't have what he used to have anymore. He's still got the stuff. He's still got good off speed. He's still got that crazy 12-6 curveball. It's just not as good as he used to be. He's not as sharp. Now, it's understandable. He's been playing for a long time. He's not Cy Young winning Clayton Kershaw anymore. And his playoff ERA compared to his regular season ERA, not only just the past 3 years, but especially the past 3 years, but his whole career, he's never been a great playoff pitcher. That's why he's never been able to get to the promised land to win a World Series. He's gotten there, never won one. Clayton Kershaw set up last night a great setup for this team going into tonight's game. He was very good. His fastball was on. His off-speed was remarkable. Had a lot of Rays pitching, including, I don't know if you saw this, including Randy Arozarena, who is the star for the Tampa Bay Rays, has been playing so well, including him swinging so hard his helmet fell off. Clayton Kershaw, for him not being as sharp as he used to be, for him being a guy that you can't all of a sudden say Kershaw's on the mound. You can't really say this anymore. Kershaw's on the mound, it's an automatic win. He's still a good pitcher, not as sharp as he used to be. He looked a lot like prime Clayton Kershaw last night. Had a lot of good in that start. Did very, very, very good in that start last night. I will admit that. That's one thing I noticed. Tyler Glasnow, too. I thought Tyler Glasnow pitched well. I mean, he allowed, 6 runs or whatever, but all in all, I thought he pitched pretty well. Through the first couple of innings, I thought he pitched pretty well. He struggled, but I thought he pitched well. I mean, through the first three innings, he pitched well. It wasn't until that 4th and that 5th inning where, he let up those big 4 runs. For a guy that's young, for a guy that's not the huge of a name, starting to grow a name for himself, I didn't think he pitched all that bad. First 3 innings of this game was strikeout, 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 ground ball, pop-up, ground ball, single, strikeout, right? That was the first 3 innings of this game. It was a lot of just ground balls, guys rolling over it, guys swinging and missing, guys taking big swings and misses. That's what I noticed early on in this game. Now, the key to victory for the Dodgers last night, and I said this, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I was thinking about this, was they had to jump on them early. I've been saying this on the podcast since the playoffs started. If you want to win ball games, you got to jump on a team early. If you're the first team to score 3-4 runs, bet you your chances of winning go from 50 to about 80 in the matter of seconds. If you jump on them early, score about 3-4 runs, get a nice lead, and your pitcher's cruising like Kershaw was last night, you're going to win the ball game. There's no other way around it. If you fall behind like the Tampa Bay Rays did, and Tyler Glasnow hits a road bump in the bottom of the 5th inning, you're going to lose like the Tampa Bay Rays did. The Dodgers executed very well pitching. They executed very well hitting, and their defense had many good plays. Bellinger obviously had that saving home run catch. Mookie Betts, just normal Mookie Betts, making plays again. All in all, this was a Dodgers team I think was a well-put-together win. Their bullpen came in, finished it out. From a good start from Kershaw, their bullpen comes in. Their bullpen comes in, has a little bit of a rocky 7th inning, 2 runs allowed, and then they were able to control themselves, grab some other guys to bring in, and they were really able to pitch well. And what I mean by jumping on them early was they didn't jump on them in the 1st or 2nd inning. But they were able to jump. They were the first team to jump on them, and they jumped on them big. Scored 2 runs in the 4th inning. Then they went off for 4 runs in the 5th inning, and that was really huge. 6 runs total in 2 innings. That is huge. If you can get 6 runs total in 2 innings to their 1 run in 5 innings, right? You can really jump on them. They scored 6 runs in 2 innings. 8 runs. They scored all 8 of their runs 3 straight innings. 2 in the 4th inning, 4 in the 5th inning, 2 in the 6th inning. That was it. It was 8-1 going. It was 8-1 going into the top of the 7th. Rays add a little bit of a sprinkle on to 2 more runs, polish their game up a little bit, made it look a little less horrible. Made it 8-3. Dodgers hung on late. Dodgers bullpen did well. Dodgers executed very well overall in this game. Kershaw, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 8 Ks. And really just a good game. Really just one of those games where, Dodgers came out, executed on all cylinders, and they hit Glasnow after he was cruising. I mean, when I was sitting there watching that game last night, it was like 0-0 going into the 3rd. And I thought for sure by the 3rd inning it would be maybe 1-1, 2-1, something like that. Because, Kershaw, I really like Kershaw. He's one of my favorite pitchers. I really like Kershaw. Glasnow, he's a very good pitcher, just stuff like that. But I was expecting, these 2 teams are just so good at hitting. They have so many hitting gems in their lineup that I thought for sure there would be at least 3-4 runs scored total within the first 4 innings. Especially Kershaw's not as sharp as he used to be, especially in the postseason. I was not expecting Kershaw to go out there and be that sharp. I was expecting him to go out there, be good, maybe. I did predict him to allow, on my Bleacher Report perfect picks, I did predict him to only allow about 1 or 2 runs. But I wasn't expecting all these strikeouts. I wasn't expecting all these hard swing and misses out of him. He made some guys really swing and miss crazy last night. I mean, including a Rosarena who took a big cut. And I know Rosarena's helmet falls off a lot. We saw it against the Yankees as Yankees fans. We saw it against the Astros if you were watching that game when he hit the home run. His helmet falls off all the time. But it's one of the most, and I pitch too, it's one of the most satisfying things as a pitcher when you get a guy to take a big hack and have his helmet fall off, have him step in the bucket, have his head pull out, and just take a absolutely huge swing and miss at the ball. Is one of the most satisfying things as a pitcher, but one of the most angry and infuriating things as a hitter, because you take a big hack and you miss the ball by like 10 inches and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, how in the world did I miss that ball by a good 5 inches and I took like the biggest swing I could have took? Kershaw had a lot of those last night, so he really played well. Kershaw really did play well, and like I said, you just have to, Clayton Kershaw pitched well. Really thought he did good. Like I said with Glass now, I already said this multiple times. He was solid for the first 3. I don't know if he got tired because he was throwing gas early. You can definitely know he had to calm the nerves down. And actually, that's another thing too. This is a younger Rays team. I mean, you look at some of the guys. Randy Arozarena, young. G-Man Choi, young. Willie Adames, younger. Yandy Diaz, he's played for multiple teams, but I don't know if he's quite been in a situation like this. There's a lot of younger, your starting pitcher is young. There's a lot of younger guys on this Tampa Bay Rays team that don't really have that experience like they like the Dodgers do. And you might think, the Dodgers have young players too. Yes, but they've been in the World Series a ton. They've been in the World Series 3 of the last 4 years, right? Bellinger's been in the World Series a ton. Jock Peterson's been in the World Series a ton. Kershaw, he's not really young anymore, but he's been in the World Series a ton. There's a lot of guys on this team. Kenley Jansen's been in the World Series a ton. Taylor's been in the World Series a ton. Walker Buehler, he's a little on the younger side, but he's had World Series experience. You can actually tell that paid off for the Dodgers last night because they had a couple big at-bats in that game where they came through quickly. I really feel like that Bellinger home run really jolted them to victory. After that home run, it was all Dodgers from there. It was all Dodgers. Yes, the Rays scored 3 runs, but the 2 runs in the 7th inning were kind of just polish it, make this game not look as bad. The 1 run in the 5th made things interesting, but then the Dodgers put up 4 in the bottom of that inning. That Bellinger home run really jolted them. Both teams needed that jolt, if you follow what I'm saying, because it was just a pitching duel. A bunch of swing and misses, a bunch of ground balls, a bunch of guys looking cool, a bunch of guys looking funny on off-speed pitches. They needed that hit early in the game, and Bellinger did that. Bellinger, I feel like, provided energy for both the Rays and the Dodgers, in a way, because after that home run, then the Rays came back in that top of that 5th, hit a home run, or not hit a home run, but you know what I'm saying, got a run, and then the Dodgers came in. It was funny. It was kind of, I don't know, I thought it was funny. It was definitely a good game for the Dodgers. Bellinger, big home run. You could tell the Rays were kind of pitching around Seager, the NLCS MVP. He didn't get many pitches in the zone. So let's read through the numbers now. We'll go with the Dodgers first. Kershaw went 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, a walk, and a strikeout. Flora went a third of an inning, 2 hits, 2 earned, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, and a K. Gonzalez, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, no earned, no runs, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts. Baez, 1 innings pitched, 1, no strikeouts or nothing. And then Kelly had 1 inning and 1 strikeout. He closed it out. That was the inning Bellinger made that huge play. And, home runs. Mookie Betts hit a home run. Cody Bellinger hit a home run. And then for the Rays, Kevin Kiermaier hit a home run. And, So let's run through the RBI guys. RBIs, Muncy had 2. Betts had 1. Hernandez had 1. Smith had 1. Taylor had 1. Bellinger had 2. RBIs, those are all of them. Obviously, 2 plus 1, 3. 4, 5, 6 plus 2, 8. So 8, those are the 8 total runs. Turner had a double, Muncy had a double, Betts had a home run, Bellinger had a home run, already read off those. And then for the Rays, Brasso had an RBI, Kevin Kiermaier 2 RBIs. Kevin Kiermaier also hit a home run. Joey Wendell had a double. So those are your big hits, your big kind of stats. And then hitting-wise, Betts went 2 for 4 with 2 runs, RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. Seager went 0 for 2 with a run scored, 3 walks. Turner went 1 for 4 with a run scored, walk, and 2 strikeouts. Muncy went 2 for 4 with 2 runs, 2 RBIs, 1 walk. Will Smith went 1 for 5 with a run scored, an RBI, and 2 strikeouts. Bellinger went 2 for 4 with a hit, a run, and 2 strikeouts. Or 1 strikeout, sorry. Taylor went 2 for 3 with a RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. Jock Peterson went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Kike Hernandez, 1 for 2 with an RBI and no strikeouts. And Barnes went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Barnes is the personal catcher for Kershaw, so he's not going to be your power guy. Rays, Yandy Diaz went 1 for 4. Brandon Lau went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Arosa Rayner went 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Hunter Renfroe went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Meadows went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Margot went 1 for 4 with a run scored and 2 strikeouts. Wendell 1 for 4 with a run scored, no strikeout. Willie Adames went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Choi did not get an at-bat. He came in and got pinch hit for. Brasso went 1 for 1 with an RBI. Kiermaier went 2 for 3 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. And then Zunino went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. So, to put this one into words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 strikeouts totally. 10 strikeouts total for them. And then the Dodgers struck out 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11 times. So, like I said, 21 out. So, 11 of the, 21 Dodgers got out 24 times because they didn't get out 27 because they did not play a bottom of the inning. So, Dodgers, 11 of their 24 outs were strikeouts. And 27 of the Rays outs were, actually, no, never mind. Yeah. So, I'm just trying to think of something. So if they had 27, yeah, so about almost half of the outs for both teams were almost strikeouts. So like I said this earlier, I was trying to do the math. Kind of average because 11, 24, and then 10, 27. It's about 2, 3 less from about half their outs were strikeouts. So 2, 3 more strikeouts. About both half these teams' total outs were strikeouts. So it was definitely one of those ball games where it was a lot of strikeouts and there was a lot of home runs. The Rays had 2 home runs, or a home run, and the Dodgers, they had 2 home runs. Kiermaier, Betts, and Bellinger all hit home runs. Bellinger started it, then the next 2 added on. So, like I said, I think overall this was a pretty solid game. I think the Dodgers looked good. I thought the Rays looked decent for the first couple of innings, and then they really struggled. By the way, I don't know if you saw this, but I don't know, you probably did. I'm assuming you're watching the game, if viewers. The pitcher caught the ball. Insane play. You probably saw it, so I don't need to run through this again, but I'm just telling you anyway. The home run, or not home run, there was a line drive right to the pitcher's glove. Boom, like he threw the pitch, his glove was like out here. Ball right to him, throws it to second, and sure enough, it was a double play. So it was a line out to the pitcher and then right to second base for the double play because the guy got hooked up at second base because you did not expect the pitcher to catch that. It was really an insane play by the pitcher, and it really capped off that inning. And I think after that inning, it really was kind of one of those just things where, you're kind of just sitting there and you're like, yeah, it's just one of those games for the Tampa Bay Rays, and it's one of those games for the Dodgers. The Dodgers just, even their pitcher is making those plays, right? And that was the inning. The Rays started to, while I was sitting there, I wasn't really getting nervous, but that was the inning. The Rays did start to say, we're not out of it yet. We're still, we're not out of it yet, right? We're not, we're not out of it yet, period, is really what I should just get to the point here. We're not out of it yet. It's kind of just, just because we're down by 7 runs or 4 runs, 5 runs when that play was happening, it's like we're not out of it yet. That play really sparked the Dodgers to victory. So ultimately, Ultimately, I would tell you this. First thoughts on the World Series, thought it looked good, really liked it, I enjoyed it. Next, I would say the Dodgers played the better ball game, without a doubt. And sometimes you could win the game and not play the better game. I mean, and I know it might sound crazy, but sometimes the other team could play really, really, really well, but you just come up with one or two hits in the better big moment, when the big, one or two hits. Have you ever heard of that saying where you say how I'm winning, but it doesn't feel like I'm winning? Like, it's almost like I've had this a couple times where I'll be watching my sports team and they'll be winning. It just doesn't feel like they're winning because it seems like that other team is just playing so much better with them, but they're finding a way to win. I've had that happen with the Jets where the Jets would only be down by like 3 or something, but realistically, I feel like we would be down by like 20 because we're just not playing good, right? And usually they go on to those games and maybe win those games, but definitely, I would say Dodgers were clearly the better team, and they were the better team, I think, all the categories, pitching-wise and hitting-wise. Now, the Rays had a couple good hits, just not enough to really get them to where they really wanted to be ultimately. I mean, they only hit the ball 6 times. I mean, the Dodgers had 10 hits, Rays only had 6. No errors in this game. It was a clean game. Like I said, it was a clean game. I thought for the first World Series game, sometimes teams, sometimes early on you notice guys have a little bit of the jitters. Guys might make mistakes early on. So it was a pretty clean ball game early on. And for Tyler Glasnow, too, to come out there and pitch well for the first 3 innings, a young guy, a guy that's really, that hasn't really pitched in many of those moments. For him to go out there and do that was really good. And then Kershaw, experienced player, went out there and seemed perfectly calm. Seemed like he's done this, but it wasn't his first rodeo before. So I really felt like it was a clean game. I really felt like the Dodgers played very well. And ultimately, the Dodgers came out on top with the win. So, with all that being said, next up is the Trevor Lawrence and the New York Jets. Alrighty, so let me get this up here. So you obviously all know Alright, so you all know, by the way, Pelicans hire Stan Van Gundy as their new head coach. I would say that was a pretty good move. So let me just get this up here. Alright, so we all obviously know pretty much this 2020 NFL draft is this 2020 NFL draft is pretty much the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, to say the least. And the New York Jets at the moment are 0-6, the worst team in the NFL without a doubt, and they are more than likely the favorite to land Trevor Lawrence in the draft. Now, I'm not talking, sorry, it's taking a little slower. I'm not talking about the draft meaning, like I'm going to tell you if I think we're going to get him or not, because the draft's in April. We're sitting here in October. The draft, the most recent draft, I feel like just happened, but the draft's in April. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you if I think we're going to get him or not, or give you my predicted draft rankings. All I'm going to talk about is the whole deal with the New York Jets and the, Trevor Lawrence, what's going to be the deal with Trevor Lawrence? So I'm pulling up the draft order now because I want to tell you the draft order, and I want to tell you some teams that, are obviously, teams that are in contention. So, sorry, this is taking a long time. I thought I remember where this was. But The Jets are obviously the front runners right now. I mean, the Jets are obviously the front runners for Trevor Lawrence and the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. I mean, this is really what it is. Every year it's called the draft for every sport, but every year it's called a draft. But mainly also every year there's also a little bit of a side name. It's like this year it's the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, pretty much. Whoever gets awarded the first pick, more than likely we get the Trevor Lawrence. Now hold on a second, that's what I'm just about to talk about. Now, this year for the NHL, it was the Alexis Lafreniere sweepstakes. Rangers luckily got him, and he's now a New York Ranger. For the NBA, last year it was Zion Williamson. This year, actually, the NBA has a little bit. People could call it the LaMelo Ball sweepstakes. Some people could call it the Anthony Edwards sweepstakes. It's one or the other. The NBA draft, actually, this year is a little bit of mixed. NHL draft, it was whoever got the first pick, it was Alexis Lafreniere. NFL draft, it's kind of that, unless if the Jets get the first pick, then maybe there could be a little bit of a shakeup. But all I want to say is that it is definitely going to be interesting involving the New York Jets and this Trevor Lawrence. That is all I want to really just say, is it's going to be different. It's going to be interesting. Now, do I really think Trevor Lawrence is going to back out with the New York Jets? That's where I'm really not sure. That's where it kind of gets to the point where, you don't really know. Hold on a second. Let me just get this up. I'm sorry. It's not... I had it in an area, and now it's not there anymore. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, here we go. Perfect. All right, so let me read you the order of the draft right now. I'm just going to read you the top 10 picks because the Seahawks right now aren't going to go lose their next 10 games probably and go get the first pick. They're just not. So I'm going to read you the top, actually, 5 picks because all these teams now, for example, if the Bengals get the first pick, they're not going to get a quarterback. They already have Joe Burrow. Same thing with, the Dolphins. If the Dolphins get the first pick, they're not going to get a quarterback. They are not going to probably get their first pick, but let's just say they're sitting at number 2. They're not because they have Tua. That's their future. The Giants, there's been rumors, but Falcons, definitely there's rumors, although the Falcons are sitting at 7. So I'll just read you the top 10. So right now, this is the order. The Jets, Jaguars, Bengals, Redskins or football team, Giants, Dolphins, Falcons, Dolphins again. That's their own pick, and then the Dolphins also have one from the Texans. So Dolphins have a chance to get 2 picks in the first round, first 2 top 10 picks. That's the Dolphins, and then the Chargers, and then the Broncos to round out the top 10. So that is your draft. That is your top 10 picks. Now, this year, whoever gets the first pick, the obvious favorites to get Trevor Lawrence. I don't foresee Trevor Lawrence, them getting a team getting a first pick, and I don't foresee a team passing up on Trevor Lawrence. Now, let's just say the Bengals get the first pick. They would be a team that would pass up on Trevor Lawrence because they already have their quarterback. They just took Joe Burrow. There's no need to take Trevor Lawrence. Same thing with the Dolphins. You obviously all heard the news of Tua starting. Involving Tua. If the Dolphins somehow lose the rest of their games, get the first pick, they don't need a quarterback. The Giants, it's up in the air. Some people want Trevor Lawrence. Some people feel like Daniel Jones is the real deal. The Giants, let's just say the Giants get the first pick. That's kind of up in the air to what the Giants are going to do. Redskins would be a team to get Trevor Lawrence. Jaguars would be a team. Falcons would be a team to get them. Obviously, Matt Ryan, there's been rumors about him leaving, not being with the Falcons by the end of this season. They're older, trying to move to the future. There's obviously a lot of news around that first pick. So, the New York Jets, at this very moment, have the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Now, do I think they're going to keep that first pick? Yes, without a doubt. I do think they will. I think the Jets, like you all know, I think the Jets are going to go 0-16. I don't foresee us winning another game this season. Now, Jets prove me wrong and make me happy with 1 win, but I do not foresee the Jets going 1-15, 2-14 this season. At best, the Jets go 1-15 this season, but like I said, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going 0-16, and I think that's pretty obvious to all of us. All you got to do is look at their schedule, look at how the Jets have played, and you'll understand where I'm coming from. Now, the Jets at the moment have Trevor Lawrence, but here's the problem with this whole Trevor Lawrence thing, is Trevor Lawrence might not want to come to New York Jets. Now, here's the deal, and this is what I'm hoping. This is my hopeful thing for the New York Jets. I hope the Jets get rid of are big cap guys. Now, I was not happy with the whole Le'Veon Bell deal, but whatever. I hope the Jets get rid of our, or some of our guys that have, the money. Now, you talk about the C.J. Mosley thing. I don't really know if I want to see C.J. Mosley gone. We haven't really got to see him play. You can't all of a sudden drop the dude, get rid of him, and be like, he hasn't even played. I want to see what happens. I want first the Jets to get a new coach. Now, I think this whole Trevor Lawrence thing, and this is where everybody's coming from. Some people are saying Trevor Lawrence shouldn't come to the Jets. Some people are saying he should. Some people haven't said anything. Some people just assume that he's going to come to the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets, the only way Trevor Lawrence comes to New York Jets is if we get a new head coach and a head coach that can develop a quarterback the right way, unlike Adam Gase. That's the only way Trevor Lawrence is going to come to the New York Jets. The only way. If we somehow keep Adam Gase and he's there for the offseason, he's there for when Trevor Lawrence gets there, Trevor Lawrence might not come to New York Jets. Now, here's the whole thing. Now, you might be wondering if a team gets the first pick, they automatically have that right to that player. Not necessarily. If a team gets the first pick, not guaranteed you get that player. It happened a couple years ago with Zion Williamson and New Orleans Pelicans. Zion wanted to go to the New York Knicks. Now, is he happy now with the New Orleans Pelicans? Yes, he is. I think he is anyway. He's doing perfectly fine there. I'm sure he's okay. At this point, he's okay. He's one of the biggest names in basketball. When that move first happened, a lot of people thought that Zion Williamson was going to pull a come back to college for another year move, come back to college for another year, or, one of those things where you have your agent or something, tell the team, kind of work out a deal. Eli Manning did this. He had his agent. He had people he knew take care of it. He did not want to go to the team that originally drafted him, so they traded him away, got another player in return. Sure enough, Phillip Rivers was drafted by Giants. Eli Manning was drafted by Chargers. Eli Manning did not want to go to the Chargers. He, sure enough, got traded. Rivers to the Chargers, Manning to the Giants. The rest is history. And sure enough, that where we're sitting now, Eli Manning was obviously happy with Giants. So you could do that. Trevor Lawrence, these are some of the options. Trevor Lawrence is very young. He's only in his sophomore year. He's very, very young. If for some reason he does not want to come to the New York Jets, one of the options is he can return to school for his senior year and play with Clemson, hope that the Jets do well, then come back and join the team. Now, the one problem with that is all the teams that really need a quarterback this year, because there's a lot of teams that need a quarterback. Jaguars do, Redskins do, Giants. I'm sure some teams, if Daniel Jones continues to play like he does, Giants might look to target one. Are they going to get Lawrence? Probably not, but there's a chance. The Falcons want a quarterback. I'm sure there's a ton of other teams. I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of teams out there that could use a quarterback. That's the one problem. If he stays for his senior year, does his draft stock get hurt? Then he's got to wait a whole another year to go to. That's why a lot of these players don't do that. A lot of these players would have their agent take care of it, have their agent request a trade kind of right away, and they would get traded and then they would get, brung to another team. That's kind of really what he would probably do. If he stays with another year, then he can't even get drafted by another team. Those top 5 teams get their quarterbacks, then where is he going to go? His draft stock might rapidly fall. So that's the one thing. Now, the only way I don't foresee, now I understand it's a disgruntled franchise, but the only way I really wouldn't see Trevor Lawrence coming to the Jets, because I think we can all see this. You don't have to be a Jets fan to realize that Adam Gase is a very bad coach. I think if the Jets get rid of Adam Gase, I think we can all realize that we can be such a better team without Gase. We just have to get rid of Gase. I think we can all kind of realize that, right? I think we can all kind of sit here and agree that it's Gase, the reason why we are so bad. That is the deal. I think if the Jets get rid of Gase and Lawrence realizes, like, if the Jets get Lincoln Riley or Eric Bieniemy or something like that, if there's rumors of that, and he comes to the New York Jets, there's definitely a solid chance of the Jets getting Lawrence, and Lawrence would want to come to a team if they get a good offensive coordinator, get Bieniemy who can develop a player well, right? That is where I think they'd try Trevor Lawrence. If the Jets somehow miraculously keep Gase, or if we hire another bad coach, Douglas maybe stays and makes bad moves, his receiving core is bad, offense line's bad, then I could see Trevor Lawrence not coming to the New York Jets. So ex-NFL star advising Trevor Lawrence to avoid Jets in draft. If the Jets end up with the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, can't miss college quarterback Trevor Lawrence should return to Clemson for his senior season in order to avoid the New York at all costs. That's what the 4-time Pro Bowl and former Falcons wide receiver Roddy White is advising Lawrence. The gifted pocket passer is considered one of the most talented quarterback prospects of all time and the best since Andrew Luck in 2012. Because it would be awful for you to get drafted by the Jets because they do not know how to put anything together over there as far as quarterbacking. Weapons around quarterback as far as anything that has to do with the offensive talent, White told the Big Lead on Tuesday. There's a good chance Jets become the 3rd team in NFL history to finish 0-16 behind the 2008 Lions and the 2017 Browns, which would guarantee them the top pick in the NFL draft, as every other team has won at least one game this season. Lawrence 21 may be too difficult to pass up, even though it has been only 3 years since the Jets selected Sam Darnold with the third overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft. The 23-year-old Darnold has mostly failed to live up to expectations, in large part due to a mediocre talent around him, as White pointed out, and also his horrible head coach, and having played under 2 coaches in such short time frame. Through 6 games this season, the Jets have tailed the league low, 75 points on offense, 25 fewer than the team right above them. And it's widely expected the second-year head coach and play caller Adam Gase will be fired by the end of the season. But it would be shocking if Lawrence, the 6'6" single car with long blonde hair, didn't declare for the draft, having already won a national championship with the Clemson in 2019. He has spent his junior season toying with defenses. Like on Saturday, he threw a career-high 5 touchdowns in the first half of a 73-7 win over Georgia Tech, bringing his season total to 15 in 5 games. If Lawrence were to follow the advice of White, and it would conjure up painful memories for Jets fans. After finishing 1-15 in 1996, Jets were primed to select Peyton Manning with the number 1 pick and team him up with the newly hired Bill Parcells and then previous top pick and wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson. Then the future Hall of Famer Manning stunningly announced he would return to Tennessee for his senior season, creating one of the biggest what-ifs in Jets history. That's the truth. Don't know if you ever knew that. Peyton Manning was going to get drafted by the Jets. That's what Manning actually did. And did I say Eli? Maybe, I don't know. But Manning did do that. That is, in fact, one of the biggest what-ifs in Jets history. Bill Parcells, Peyton Manning. What if they would have come together, and then sure enough, that next season, Peyton Manning got drafted by the Colts. The rest is history. That is, in fact, one of the biggest what-ifs in Jets history. That's what stinks about this situation now. That's why, everybody wants the Jets to tank and go 0-16. But I feel like if we tank and go 0-16, that hurts our chances of getting him. Meaning, actually getting him. I understand we'll be rewarded the first pick, but that doesn't mean Trevor Lawrence is going to be with us. That's the problem. Everybody's saying, tank, go 0-16, tank. You know how much, that could hurt us in the long run? I don't know. I'm never a big fan of this whole tanking thing. I would rather watch my team win. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if people would agree with me, but I would rather watch my team win than, I would rather watch my team win than watch them go 0-16. Try to get Lawrence and maybe not even get him. I hope the Jets get Trevor Lawrence. I obviously hope they do. They said it right in that article. He's probably one of the best players of all time. Without a doubt. He's probably one of the best players of all time coming out of college. If the Jets can't get him, that really stinks. I do think I just hope that we do. We'll find out depending on how the rest of the season goes. Who knows? You could always get a Patty Mahomes. A player like him where, he wasn't, like I said, you could always get a guy like Mahomes where, he wasn't, he was the 10th pick in the draft, but he wasn't your first overall pick. He wasn't he wasn't the first overall pick in the draft. If you get a quarterback maybe later in the draft, like the 10th pick or 15th pick, maybe it could turn into something where it is special. I don't know. Now, here's my other thing. Let's just say the Jets get the first pick and Trevor Lawrence refuses to go to the Jets. There's still another solid quarterback out there, Justin Fields from Ohio State, who I think is probably the second best quarterback in the draft behind Lawrence. Maybe the second best player in the draft behind Lawrence. So, it's not like the Jets, if they don't get Lawrence, it's not like they have no one to choose from. Still got Justin Fields, although will Justin Fields try to avoid that? I don't know. Then, if he avoids that, then the Jets are honestly just to the point where the Jets should just rehire Gaze and just screw up again. I mean, I just hope that Lawrence comes to the Jets, because I feel like if we can get rid of Gaze, and then if we can get rid of... I mean, I'm hoping if we get the chance to get Lawrence, I hope for. I mean, I like Darnold, but I just don't know. I mean, I think Darnold's better off for Darnold's sake. I think he's better off going to a different team with a better franchise, with a better coach, and learning. I mean, Colts need a quarterback. Could Darnold be a fit at the Colts? There's rumors. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I just hope the Jets get... the Jets obviously traded Jamal Adams and got that first pick from the Seahawks. So, unless the Seahawks lose their next 10 games, the Jets get 2 first-round picks at the moment. They will get whatever they get, and then more than likely the first pick, and then they'll get probably around the 30th pick from the Seahawks. And there's rumors that we might get a receiver there and a quarterback there. This is all speculation. You can't right now sit here and tell me, oh, the Jets are getting this guy. The first pick, if the Jets get the first pick, we will, in fact. That would be the more guaranteed thing. But I just hope the Jets can do something. Because if the Jets maybe win 1 or 2 games and they see positives, maybe Lawrence just comes here. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Mayfield still went to the Browns after their 0-16 season. So Mayfield still went to the Browns. Although Mayfield wasn't a lock in number 1. It was either Darnold to the Browns or Mayfield. So, I don't know, one of the others. But that did create one of the biggest what-ifs in Jets history with the whole Peyton Manning thing. When Bill Parcells got hired, got the first pick, Peyton Manning went back to Tennessee. Next season went to the Colts. We all know what happened. One of the biggest what-ifs. Would he have been the Peyton Manning... that's what's crazy. Is there are a lot of what ifs in sports, but that is crazy. What would have happened with the New York Jets? Would the Jets have been different now? Even now it impacts us. Even now it could have impacted us, because Peyton Manning could have been our franchise guy till 2015, and then he could have, and then all of a sudden, and then what? Right? So. Tell you what, the Broncos, hopefully they find their quarterback in Drew Lock. Hopefully that's their guy. Because the Broncos, they have not had a solid quarterback since Manning left. It's crazy. They thought they had Osweiler, didn't do anything. Then they got, So they've got 8 quarterbacks in 2 years. They've had 8 quarterbacks on that team in 3 years since Manning and then Drew Lock. But, I don't know, it's definitely going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting with the New York Jets. So now we move on to the games tonight. If I can pull those up. All right, so tonight the Dodgers-Rays play. Dodgers up 1-0 in the series. 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. Blake Snell takes the mound versus Gonsolin. Tyler Gonsolin on the Dodgers. Over-under is 8. World Series Game 2. Dodgers got the lead 1-0. I give the Dodgers the win again today. Let me see what my pick was. I already made my pick. Dodgers win 6-3. That's what my pick. So, I got Dodgers winning 6-3. I got Dodgers winning tonight 6-3. That's what I got winning tonight. And I think Gonsolin's a pretty good pitcher. Snell is hittable. I mean, he's pitched well, but he's hittable. I think the really main guy on that team is Morton. And if the Dodgers hit like they did last night, Dodgers would be in good position to take a 2-0 series lead, and that would be big. You take a 2-0 series lead in the World Series, that's pretty big if you ask me. By the way, tomorrow we got the Eagles game. We'll have the Thursday night game. We'll preview that. We'll do my game pick, my first game pick of Week 7. We'll do that. Then we'll do our obvious fantasy football. Start them, sit them, what you got to do. What you should do with your fantasy team. And then we'll do the World Series again. And then Fridays, obviously, our game picks. World Series, game picks, football Friday. That kind of stuff. So, it's going to another packed week of the podcast. So, yeah. So, in a lot of other sports, like I said, it has been very easy to find topics. It has been very easy. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday's football. Wednesday is my only day where I talk about, a variety of different things. And today I knew I was going to talk about Lawrence. And the first topic I was debating on, do I talk about the World Series or do I put Lawrence in there? I talked about the World Series. I wanted to kick it off with the World Series since that's the most recent thing that happened. And the Trevor Lawrence thing is kind of just all speculation. Trevor Lawrence hasn't came out yet, or his agent hasn't came out yet. They asked him a question a couple weeks ago, and he said he's not focused on it right now. He said he's focused on winning a championship. That's the problem. All this outside noise could get to him. And that's why I'm happy that he's not focusing on it. That has a franchise quarterback right there. So, it's going to be interesting. It will be definitely interesting just to see the outcome of this Jets season. And I want to know what's going to happen with Gase. Is he going to stay or is he going to go? Every week you hear, Jets are going to get rid of Gase. And then all of a sudden you hear, no, Jets aren't. Jets are. It's just what do you believe anymore? It is what it is. So, it's going to be interesting. But, go Dodgers tonight. Game 2 of the World Series. Should be a lot of fun. I'll be back at it tomorrow with another podcast. So, see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.